welcome to the Raw Report episode 36. But before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, drop a comment, hit us up on Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And we just wrapped up an exciting week 11 here at RFS, and the NFL is getting very exciting, picking up that playoff movement. And of course, fantasy leagues are in full effect. We had a few clinchers going on this weekend. Congratulations to our man over here, Bone Santana, and myself for clinching multiple playoff berths in multiple leagues. RFS, shout outs to them. We have about 3 weeks remaining, in the regular season in fantasy. And like I mentioned, guys, we just wrapped up week 11, and we're starting to see the top dominating teams take shape. And one thing that we want to express right now is, what would you guys say are the top 2 teams in every division right now? We're going to kick it off with the AFC right now. I know we did a divisional breakdown, but after week 11, a lot of things have changed. We've had numerous amounts of injuries, and a lot of situations have changed for a certain amount of teams that were doing very well. So without further ado, AFC top 2 picks.
Top 2 picks right now in the AFC. Up and down, there is like about a 3 or 4-way tie. There's a bunch of 7-3 teams: the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Jaguars, all 7-3. Ravens are 8-3. Chiefs as well. I'm gonna go with the Ravens and the Dolphins.
Oh, surprise! Tell us all your reasoning.
Well, number one is because I knew Andre was going to be predictable and say something related just like that. But no, and
all our viewers knew what was coming. That's what she said.
That's what she No, but in all fairness, I'm not ranking the Chiefs up there. It's just because an alarming stat that was mentioned a lot of times throughout the game yesterday, and even afterwards, the post game, was the fact that they haven't scored in the second half for 3 straight games. And I don't know about you, but that in the beginning of the season, not a big deal. Heading into December, and you're having issues scoring in the last 3 games in the second half, 0 points. I can't put you up there, even though the Chiefs are who they are and they got Patty. It's not looking good for them. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens, who have been, juggernaut defensively, and Lamar Jackson is still out there, and you just can't dismiss the number 1 passing attack and the number 2 rushing attack in the entire NFL with a defense that's resurging, thanks to Jalen Ramsey. So yes, I'm putting the Miami Dolphins in there. Show some motherfucking respect.
Fair enough, Bones. Saw that Dolphins pick coming a mile away. So it's okay. You can be biased. We're all adults here.
Right? I'm not trying to be, though. I'm just letting the viewers know it's. If the Chiefs have been scoring, regularly all the time, I would put up, because you have to respect it. You have to respect the reigning champs.
You're entitled to your opinion, as a cute one, but you're entitled to it. The Ravens, although they had a gut-wrenching loss to the Browns with DTR at quarterback, they're still 8-3. That defense is formidable. Right, Lamar Jackson's still playing at a high level. He's top 5 in MVP voting, and they're clear number 1. But it's Andy Reid, Patty Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco. Whenever he runs with the ball, you get out of his way. He's like a mini Derrick Henry. He just bowls people over, man. He's a brute down there in the trenches. So. They'll figure it out, I feel. So I have them as my top 2. Ravens first, then the Chiefs. Dolphins, the Florida teams are right there. Dolphins and the Jags. They get a couple more wins, and who knows? It's 3 7-3 teams, 1 8-3 team. That first round bye is up for play till the very last week of the season.
I'm gonna go classical, guys. I don't think much has changed right now. Kansas City, Baltimore. What is there to say? I think they're the top 2 teams right now. Kansas City took a tough loss last night to the Philadelphia Eagles. My Philadelphia Eagles, the number 1 top team in the NFL. Don't you forget it. All right. Patty, I think he's going to end up taking Kansas City the distance. It's not the same team as it was previous years, but who will be kidding? Kansas City has been number 1 the entire time right now this season. And Baltimore seems to be on a good route. I think the Florida teams are going to end up duking it out, Dolphins and the Jags, okay? But if I were to pick two tops right now, it would have to be Baltimore and Kansas City, hands down. It seems like the last 4 seasons, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens are dominating the AFC. All right, and I like to see Trevor Lawrence step up to the plate, guys. All right, I want to see a ballerific performance from Trevor Lawrence. I think that Jacksonville has some positive momentum going on there, but I need to see something more from Trevor Lawrence, man. I haven't really seen any flashes of Hall of Fame greatness out there, man. They're doing well though. I don't want to knock them too hard, but I want to see something great coming from Trevor Lawrence moving forward.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you want to see that 300 plus 3 touchdown game, that he was drafted number 1 overall for, right? I mean, he had a respectable line, 260 some yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad, but they got the win, but against a pretty bad Tennessee Titans team. So when they go up against another heavy hitter, he needs to really put on a show, right? It's A+ grades across the board for him, or they take another L, and they can't afford that.
It's almost like the changing of the guard when it comes to these quarterbacks. Sunshine is part of the elusive new wave of quarterbacks coming in. Because to be honest, I'm not counting Aaron Rodgers as part of this list. That man is 40 years old, but Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, players that have been in the league for 6-7+ seasons now. Been holding down the AFC.
They're not youngers anymore, no.
No, of course not. They're established vets. They're closer to 10 years, than anything else. Whereas Burrow, Tua, Lawrence, all these Herbert, all these young guys.
TJ Stroud, rookie.
TJ Stroud is but that's a rookie. The rest of these other guys I mentioned, 5 years and less in the league. So I'm sure they feel it. I'm sure Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen, they feel the young guns coming. And I'm pretty sure within either this season or the upcoming few, we're gonna see the changing of the guard.
It's a very good take, Bones. Can you let me check your ears? I mean, who's talking into your ear right now? Let me see.
They found us.
Got secret earpieces right now. Listen, we're going to move on to my favorite conference right now, the NFC. And what is there to say, fellas? The Philadelphia Eagles, 9-1, the number 1 team in the entire NFL. And I got to say, guys, they're the kings of the NFC East. Shout outs to everybody who's not. The Giants suck. The Commanders are no good. And we all know Dallas is going to choke. All right, so if I were to pick my number 2 right now, I'm going to go ahead and put Detroit up there, all right, because it's going to come down to the 49ers and Detroit is going to end up slightly surpassing them at the finish line last minute. So I'm going to go ahead with Detroit. Of course, my obvious number 1 is Philly, baby.
Hey, I've been saying it all season long. Go back to the earlier podcast, viewers, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, waitresses, janitors. Jared Goff has above average play. They'll play well. They'll win games. They're 8-2. The Lions are a very dangerous team, even for the Eagles. They'll put up points. And guess what? Jahmyr Gibbs is now established at the top of the depth chart as RB1, as he deservedly earned that position. And everyone who took a chance on him in the first round or early second round of your fantasy draft picks, this is the stud that you drafted. Multiple catches, touchdowns, elusive, bruising on the ground. That's who you want. I have the same picks, Jerry. Simply put, Eagles, best team in the NFL right now. Can't stop them. That tush push is unbeatable, unguardable, unmatchable. I wish someone would figure out a way to stop it, but there's no stopping it, right? It's like when you you know what? No, I won't go there. It's a little too graphic. But anyway, Lions second, creeping up behind them. The 49ers look formidable again. Besides that, that's it. It's a weaker conference. The NFC South is there. I think the number 1 team is is 500. So
I'm gonna go with the same picks because who would have thunk it? Detroit, 8-2. Wow. Shout out to them. Any Lions fans? Big ups to you guys. But yeah, it's gonna be Philadelphia and Detroit, right? You just can't dismiss Detroit. Right now they got that young wide receiver, Jameson Williams, the another deep threat that's starting to come along. You know, Marvelous
Raw, St. Brown.
I'm on Raw, clear number one, but that tight end, what a find. What a find for Laporta, out in Detroit.
Great fantasy team name, Laporta Potty.
Straight up. And then they have a solid defense, but they got two running backs that are killing it. They got Montgomery, and now they got the rookie, finally getting some touches. And Jared Goff's been to the big show before, so he provides a steady hand. Let's see how they do on Thanksgiving. But Philly is the number 2 team right behind the Dolphins when it comes to offense. So obviously they can put up points, with the best of them. They've been showing it. That record, stands tall, head and shoulders above the rest. Best record in the league right now. So it's got to be them too. And, and I didn't know this. I thought I was going to have to hope for this matchup in the playoffs. But Andre mentioned that the Eagles play the 49ers in the regular season. Now that is a matchup that
we all know it's going to be pay-per-view out here, man. But we know the Eagles are going to get that
They're playing. They play on this Sunday, December 3rd, the greatest day in the history of mankind, also known as my birthday. I'm attending the Dolphins-Commanders game up here in FedEx Field. So send me a shout out. Send me a DM. I'll shoot you a video when the Commanders get absolutely destroyed, but it'll be a fun time.
By these 3 guys, by Jalen, and Jalen.
No. It's Dylan.
Because I spit hot fire.
Listen,
all of our viewers that don't know what that is.
This is the part where we kind of have to single out the teams that have fallen off the wagon, unfortunately, for whatever reason. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to throw the Los Angeles Chargers here, man, at a disappointing 4-6. They are 1-1 in the division, 2-3 in the conference. And for some strange reason, it has not clicked for Justin Herbert this season, guys. The Chargers are dead last in their division. We're talking about a playoff quality, or at least they appear to be on paper, a playoff quality type of team. And unfortunately, the city that has more Eagles fans than they do Chargers fans will not be going to the playoffs this year. Justin Herbert, man, just hasn't been able to click. And it's just been very disappointing, man.
Yeah, I mean, you saw they're making memes about Austin Eckler running like a fullback down on the sideline. He looks all out of sorts. He doesn't look – he's always been a great receiving back, but he had a very solid rushing attack. But now he's just bouncing on the outside, just trying to get open. It looks like, Father Time is catching up with him. It's sad to see. But besides the Chargers, you got Joe Shiesty out for the year. When they were bouncing back over his calf injury. Jamar Chase, balled out. Said, give me the ball. I'm always open. T. Higgins got hurt, but, they still do it. Joe Mixon looks, pretty spry for, about 30 years old. But that team's Dunsky.
I want to highlight more about these Chargers. This is a team that had the most selection in the top 100 NFL list last year. And by every definition, they have, been a disappointment this season. People have been saying this was going to be the year that Herbert, sets himself apart as elite. I'm looking for all those apology forms right now because my boy Tua is definitely outplaying his classmates. And, it's all about these wins. This man can't lead his team to wins. He has a stacked team head to toe, only missing Mike Williams, but
when you throw the ball to an open hand, even Keenan Allen, there was a play where he threw a ball. Keenan Allen was wide open in the end zone. Justin Herbert throws a perfect pass, hits him right in the chest, just bounces off. I'm not here making excuses. I'm not a Chargers fan by any definition, but it's not all. He doesn't play defense. He's not catching the ball too. What do you expect him to do?
Yeah, it
He did
seems like a
have some
wasted effort.
erroneous plays, or I think it was
all
last
off
week.
season, all off season, all these experts and even ESPN was crowning him the next coming, the best quarterback of the class. Just for him to fall flat in his face this season, along with his team.
He needs to shave. He
So
needs to shave the mustache. It's not helping.
you know, enough about the Chargers. And I saw you touched on the Bengals. Sad thing to say, like if you're gonna have a bad season, have it, through performance, like how Justin Herbert's going through right now. He's out there, he's playing week in, week out. They're just losing. You hate to see a talent like Joe Burrow, be sidelined because of injury. You hate to see it to any player, really. But hopefully speedy recovery to him. But the Bengals, another disappointing team that's out of it. That's out of the race this season. I want to talk about the Bills though. The Bills. Oh my God, the Bills 6-5. The Cowboys of the AFC. Year in, year out, they crown the Cowboys, they crown the Bills. Year in, year out, the Cowboys are one player away. Year in, year out, the Cowboys are just one season away. And what does Jerry say? We know they're going to choke.
Of course. You know it, baby. But hey, you know what? We've seen the Bills go the distance. And that's the only difference between right now.
How big is the Bills?
That's the only difference right now.
They've been in the mix for a couple years now. How big is their window, considering their record and their play this season?
I personally think their window is over. Stephon Diggs wants to run out of that team yesterday, okay? He wants off the team. Josh Allen, I think everybody's had just enough about his choke fest, right? But they're there, man. They're there. They're 2-2 in the division, 3-5 in the conference. All right, so you can't entirely rule them out. They have a great offense.
No, I disagree with both of you. I can't. You can't bounce them out. All right, I think the first week of the season, first 2 weeks, they lost like 3 starters on defense. They were supposed to be like top 5, top 3 defense in the league. They lost a lot of people on defense. So, but not besides that, Josh Allen has had some very questionable play. His touchdown, he leads the league since I think 2020 in touchdowns by more than like 30 total touchdowns, right? So he's also rushing touchdowns. So that's why he's a high quality fantasy pick. But he also leads the league by like 20 or 30 in interceptions since that same span. So you take the good with the bad, right? You take the good with the bad. You take those touchdowns. You take that play. You take those wins with the ugly interceptions here and there. You pick your poison, and that's Buffalo's poison right there.
So he's Brett Favre
by his hand, but right in this season, he doesn't have the defense to back him up. Some of these losses, they had some defensive stops. They easily be, they're 6-5, 7-4, 8-3, up there with the greats, but
6-5, bro. 6-5, and especially the AFC, which has shown to be the most competitive season. I mean, the most competitive conference thus far, where so many teams are 7-3. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for them. I'm not counting them out, but they're right there. They're on the cusp. They're on the cusp.
Speaking of cusp, but what about Cooper Kupp? Out again. Devon Achane out again. Kenneth Walker injured. This is just terrible timing for your fantasy matchups.
Man. It's horrible. The injuries are just, they won't stop, man. And then, again, Burrow's out for the season. Deshaun Watson is out for the season. I don't think we touched on him. I can say the Browns are done, guys. I mean, even they have a decent record, and unless they can run the ball 100 times a game, is just not going to pan out.
Question is, how low is Jamar Chase's stock now?
Very low. You can sell him for a pack of peanuts, bro.
Do you start him?
I think
do you have any other choice? I feel like you have no other choice but to start him no matter what.
He has to stay a must start. especially with Higgins out. They got who else? Trent Irwin, right?
They got Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. I think that he's a nice vet, but it's gonna be tough for Jake Browning to hit him on the deep passes, right?
Right.
Usually when a backup quarterback comes in, it's the slot intermediate, short to intermediate passes guys that eat up. So in your PPR leagues, look to see who plays the slot, look at the defense. Maybe not get like 50, over 100 yards, but if he gets 5 receptions for 50, that's 10 points right there. Because the waiver wire is thin. It is thin.
In this league, ain't nobody available. Shit.
Yeah, if you see free agency in our leagues, there's literally like not even like scraps of bones. Like there's just literally nothing, just the grease on the plate. There's nothing available, guys. The Polo League is ruthless. All right, so moving forward, guys, it's unfortunate a lot of those teams are going to be out of contention. Look out for the Steelers. They might sneak up on Cleveland now that they're probably going to be out of the picture. But we are in the holiday season. The fantasy football gods are shining down on some of y'all teams. We just wrapped up week 11, week 12, 13, and 14, the last 3 games of the season for most fantasy leagues here. And we are moving now into the holiday season, guys. Very exciting. We got Thanksgiving weekend coming up, week 12. All right, first matchup on Thursday at noon. Packers, Lions. Who you got?
Lion.
I don't know what that was, but I got the Detroit Lions. They're playing in Detroit. It's that has to be an easy win. They're playing in Detroit, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with Detroit as well. I picked them as my top 2 in the NFC, and I do see them washing the Packers, man. The Lions seem to be very traditional on Thanksgiving, right? So they got the midday matchup, 8-2. They're gonna be looking to be 9-2. I don't think the Packers have anything in store for them. Next matchup, your Commanders, Dre, and the horrendous Dallas Cowboys.
Oof.
Hey man, the Cowboys have a winning record. I mean, they only win against teams with losing records, right? Go look it up. All you Cowboys fans wearing Flint 13s, jean shorts, and wife beaters right now, borrowing your uncle's chain. Go look it up. Do me that favor. I just depicted about 90% of how Cowboys fans look and dress. They might win, but the Commanders have pulled off crazier. So I'm not expecting the Commanders to go anywhere this offseason. They need to fire Riverboat Ron. They need to fire Jack Del Rio. Sam Howell needs to look at tape and not make some ridiculous throws. The defense is actually being ranked is going down as one of the worst defenses in the league right now. So if you have anybody playing the Commanders, start them. 4th string wide receiver on the practice squad, start him. Waterboy, start him. Mark start. They're that bad. But yeah, Cowboys. The Cowboys might win.
Damn. There's something about divisional games that, on paper you may think, oh, this is a wash, Dallas, right? But but you just never know. You never know
with Dallas, bro. Dallas is going Dallas.
Not only that, but these division games also tend to be interesting because these teams are built to beat you throughout the offseason. So I'm sure you guys know each other very well. What is this, the first matchup or your second matchup with them?
I think
Have you played the Cowboys this season?
I think we got smoked by them earlier in the
year. I think there's a second lineup of the season. But it brings us to our next heavyweight matchup, the prime time matchup for Thanksgiving, the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks on Thanksgiving, man. I got my money on I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this. I predict an upset. I think that the Niners are gonna take a tumble. I love the roster, don't get me wrong. I just don't think they have a solid quarterback. and Debo Samuel's been banged up. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the Seahawks to win on Thursday night, Thanksgiving dinner.
Brock Purdy, 333 yards and 3 touchdowns his past game against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm not saying he's back in the MVP conversation because he's just not, but he's not fluky as much as a lot of people were saying. So Geno Smith banged up, Kenneth Walker banged up, Tyler Lockett banged up. They are playing in Seattle, and that 12th man, that stadium is one of the loudest stadiums, if not the loudest in the NFL. So divisional game, nighttime game.
I'm gonna go with Seattle.
I have to go with the 49ers.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were playing at Seattle. I like that advantage. I like that advantage. I like the bloodbath that the 49ers and Seahawks as of late have been having. They're very, they're fond of each other. I like that kind of football. I'm gonna give the yes to Seattle just because they're at home.
All right, guys, and we got the next Black Friday game, the first ever Black Friday game, the classic Dolphins versus Jets. And I really hope you guys don't lose to the goddamn Jets, who just benched Zach Wilson for the third string quarterback.
The Eagles lost to the Jets.
Listen, the Eagles were never gonna try against the Jets.
I don't want to hear.
All I'm saying is, you guys, Dolphins, who are this is a divisional game for you guys. All right, this is serious as cancer. You gotta beat these guys 4-6. I mean, you guys are 7-3 right now. You can't let the Bills creep up on you.
We can.
You can't let them off easy, right? The Giants just embarrassed the Commanders with their third string backup, Tommy, the passing Parmesan DeVito. Passing Parmesan DeVito. 3 touchdown passes. Saquon Barkley looked rejuvenated out there. It was so embarrassing, bro.
Hey, man.
So you never know. Like you guys were saying, divisional games, they are not gimmies. You see these teams twice a year. You adjust, readjust, affirm, reconfirm, everything.
I don't think the reality has set in for a lot of people because it damn sure hasn't really set in for me. Not until even seeing it live last game. We have Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey as our cornerbacks. Jalen Ramsey had 2 picks last game. 2. Have you seen what he's allowing when targeted? 0.0. 3 picks. 1 fumble forced. They're starting a third-string quarterback. I feel like my guys are going to eat. I know people would say trap game. I have never felt more comfortable about going into a trap game ever in my Dolphin fandom.
All right, so moving on, guys. We're gonna end up taking care of it for you guys. The Eagles play the Bills 4:00 in Philly. All right, I got my Eagles on that. All right, so Eagles over the Bills. That's a hand. That's another shoe W. All right, 10-1, baby.
Shoot me that. Give me that. I need to see Josh Allen in pain. Eagles.
Bills, baby. Bills Mafia.
All right, so then up next, we got the Steelers and the Bengals, all right? We all know Burrito's out of contention, all right? They got a second string quarterback, no third stringer. The stock for the wide receivers has just plummeted, and they'll probably have to resort to running the ball 45 times.
Yeah, Joe Mixon doesn't have it in them to run it 45 times. They're going to throw short dump offs, show intermediate passes. The Steelers just fired Matt Canada. Congratulations, Pittsburgh. You just fired the most incompetent offensive coordinator of all time, not named Nathaniel Hackett. So, Pittsburgh, great defense. If you have their defense on your roster, they are a must start. Must start. You're going to score at least 30 points.
All right, Jaguars, Texans in Houston. CJ Stroud, guys. CJ Stroud.
Wow.
That's going to be a showdown.
That's going to be a good game. Another divisional game of the AFC South. Wow. I'm gonna give it to Houston.
Yeah, Stroud's gonna walk in with a Jaguar mink, and that's how he's gonna leave.
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. I want to see Trevor Lawrence come to greatness. This is gonna be a
No.
great matchup. Okay, Buccaneers, Colts in Indianapolis.
Thinker. Neither team. Both lose.
Mid
Snooze
off.
fest.
Vikings.
Hey, the Colts are coming off a bye. They got some rest. JT got a little bit of rest. I got the Colts there. Tampa Bay's no pushover though.
All right, and then we go to the worst division in football: Falcons and Saints. Another snooze fest here.
I generally don't
Atlanta.
care who wins.
Atlanta. I'm gonna just say that.
I'd like Atlanta to win, but I mentioned pre-show that I'd like Derek Carr to get into the playoffs, even if it's because they win the division at like 9-8 or some shit, you know.
Listen, we got another terrible matchup here: the Patriots and the Giants. Battle of the garbage.
I'm gonna go with DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, man.
DeVito!
I hate the Giants, but the storyline is he still lives with his mom. Makes his bed, has his food. It's a wonderful story.
They said he was gonna move out until his father slapped him and said, "You're breaking your mother's heart."
You better act right. I raised you better. Panthers, Tennessee, another snooze fest here. The 1-9 Panthers, 3-7 Titans.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm gonna give Carolina their second win of the season.
Bryce Young gets his second win.
Yeah.
Will Levis, mayo in the coffee. Don't trust him. You do not trust a white boy that puts mayo in his coffee. You do not. It's stated in the Geneva Convention and the National Constitution of American
Listen,
rights.
I'm excited because the only thing that this means for the upcoming matchup, Los Angeles Rams versus the Cardinals, Puka Nacua is going to come back to greatness now that Cooper Kupp is out with an injury. And we should see him come to fruition this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Rams.
Man, Kyler's coming. Kyler's playing well, but Kyren Williams is set to make his return from IR. So that's something to watch for. And Arizona's run defense is terrible. So any of you fantasy managers with Kyren Williams on your IR spot, he's a must start.
Following
Go
matchup,
ahead.
Cleveland and Broncos. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Broncos here just because, you know, Cleveland has no quarterback. They signed Joe Flacco this weekend, but I really think they're just going to end up losing the rest of the games for the rest of the season. I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one.
I thought Joe Flacco moved to Latvia or something. The Broncos are on a 4-game win streak, but the Browns defense is also a must start here. I'm going Browns.
I'm gonna go with Sierra's team. Make it 5 in a row.
All right, we got Vegas and the Chiefs, man. I wish I could go for Vegas, but you know, Patty Mahomes is going to be looking to bounce back from that loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one, guys.
Yeah, no better team to bully than the Raiders right now. Sorry, Jerry. Sorry about that. But if any team is gonna help the Chiefs bounce back, it's the Raiders. Chiefs by 2 touchdowns.
Going with the upset. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby gonna be all up in that Mahomes ass.
You're talking about my second home there, Bones, Vegas.
Mahomes has officially switched from marijuana to mescaline. That's why he's making these outlandish picks.
The next matchup, Ravens, Chargers, and the Ravens are going to make some real food out of the Chargers. I got my money on the Ravens.
Where they playing?
In Los Angeles.
Chargers, another upset.
Okay.
Another upset.
Baltimore, easy. Keaton Mitchell, breakout game. His touches are going up.
And finally, guys, Monday Night Raw. Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh.
This is an interesting game. Justin Fields is back, and DJ Moore is a 20-point minimum with Justin Fields on the floor. Vikings, Joshua Dobbs, another great story. The Astrodobs. They're playing in Minnesota. I got the Bears, though.
This is the best mid-off of the week. Which mid team is better?
The Vikings, man.
Hey man, they just lost the game at home.
Jettis isn't playing. He's questionable, but the Vikings I think have a bye next week.
So that means
it's
TJ Hawkinson is a must start.
I think he's banged up too.
Ooh. We'll go with Minnesota.
Damn. All right, guys. So that brings us up to the end of our episode here, the Raw Report episode 36. But before we get out of here, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, drop a comment, hit us up on Raw Fantasy Sports on Instagram. And as we're clinching the playoffs, guys, good luck to everybody here on week 12 as we continue the Clinch Fest and RFS. And don't forget, trade deadline this very week, okay? Submit those last trades and make sure you get your value because you will not be able to trade after this week. And let's get it, guys. Good luck to everybody. Raw Report episode 36. We'll be back next week with episode 37.
Good luck to everybody except Bones.
That's how I know I'm gonna win.